What it do, beef stew, what it do. Gang, you know. It's been a minute. Hey, got good news, hot news, fresh off the press. Actually, it was more a couple days ago, but I finally just had a chance to stop moving. And I have been testing out this Tail Air for maybe a few months now. Did a whole conversation on why it's a cool camera a few weeks back. So I'll link that up here somewhere. But in the beginning, you had to use an Android. I didn't have an Android at first, so I had to go out and borrow this from a partner. He gave me this old Samsung 7 something. I don't even know what the proper words are because I do not like these things. It's a Samsung something something. And it worked. It made the camera do what the camera's supposed to do. However, my brain does not wrap around Android. I used to be mad bisexual. I could use whatever. No, not my time for that today. Nowadays, my brain don't want to do that. So I kept harassing my friends over at the OBSBOT team. It's like, yo, when are we getting iOS? When are we getting iOS? So I got the info and then finally got the iOS app, and now I am stoked. All right, so here's my phones. And this is the OBS bot up there. Don't worry, can't get a credit card. When this expired, I found out you can peel the numbers off of it, so it's just a blank card. So good for pictures. It was really funny. It was starting to delam. It just the part with the numbers just peels right off. So boom, it's good for pictures. Anyway, so which one are we gonna use? Let's open up the 14. I have it on the 14. So you come over. You're gonna hit the app. The app is called, where'd I put it? OBS Start. That's the old OBS Studio. You don't want that one. That's the previous version. For this particular camera, you hit OBS Start. Boom, it pops right up. There's the camera on there. Actually, I don't even have to do that. You'll see in a minute how I can make this work better. I just go ahead and I could either rescan to add an additional camera, whatever. I just hit camera. Boom. There it is. Now there is the app. We're going to let it roll like that for a second. And I'll show you. I'm going to do a whole walkthrough, but let me just show you something cool. One of the reasons why I really love this, I can just hit this position button and have it automatically crop down to here. I can hit the pull back button to go back to the big size. If I wanted to show something on my Mackie, I can hit the button, shoo, come over here. I can show you how we're doing some adjustments, whatever on the old Mac attack there. Hit back to position 2. It just comes back up. But even more crazy than this, if I'm all the way out here wide, right, in this position, I could also use this little sort of cropping button and hit the crop in, which takes me to here. But by move that out the way, dragging the little box, when I turn it loose, it'll adjust up to the keyboard. So you can see me typing on the keyboard. Now I can show you what happens when you peel the lamination off of a MasterCard. And just by dragging it back and turn it loose, it'll jump into that position. So really cool. Like, let's drag it over to the old brand new what do you call this? The camera kit that I got. Boom. What's up, Brandon Lee? How you doing? All right, can drag it back to here. Get a little bit more keyboard this time. Like, to me, that's cool. That's just super cool. I wish we had a way to do this with our regular full frame cameras, because for this particular zoom and crop, I don't necessarily need the gimbal. Like, I don't think the gimbal's even moving for the majority of this. It's recropping the frame that's already there. So imagine if our Sony cameras let us have access to the full 7 megapixels and all we did was pick crops out of it. Man, that would be dope. Whoever figures that app out, you're going to be rich. All right. Anyway, so that's some of the things that you can do with that cropping section. We have AI crop control. I don't really particularly use this for me because what this will do is automatically pick between wide and auto for you. In my particular case, I don't need that. We have some standard and slow motion action. Hold on, let me do this. I just realized something. I should be back to big up in order to show you this. All right, there we go. So I'll go back to the AI section again. You have your slow, standard, and fast, how quick you want it to move. Believe it or not, the gimbal is really quick. Um, Go away. I'm gonna have to put this thing on do not disturb. The Everybody's chatting it up in the OBSBOT like pregame group. Those of us that got this early, everybody's talking in there. So we got slow, standard, fast. I can throw my tracking on if I want to be able to track a position. I don't have anything to track right now, so I'm not going to do much. And I have box select so that I can object track an object if I wish. Okay. The other thing that's cool in here, you got this gimbal view, so I can use the controls here to control the gimbal. Woo, woo. And you see it's pretty responsive. Super responsive. Can hit my little recenter button. Come back down to here. Right? Let's see. We have regular cropping, which I kind of sort of already showed you. And then these are where you add positions. So if I was here and I wanted to come in even tighter, right? I can zoom it out here. I can use my zoom control, but I could add an additional position by holding down the P and give it some more positions. Okay, so that's the basics of it. It's a real simple control here. If I go to the, don't disconnect. If I go to here, it allows me to pick some of those shots. So I can just tap to jump to various shots just by tapping these. So it's almost like having that control mix out on the ATEM, right? So there's that part is cool. You can do some really hot stuff with that. Imagine doing a 2-person shot and you have person 1, person 2, wide shot, maybe table, and you're controlling the whole thing from a phone with this single camera. And believe it or not, because it can run without a computer, you could totally go to town on that. Yes. Thank you, Kevin, for throwing that in there. I appreciate you. That gives everybody a chance to go and see what it looked like, what it be like, or as we say in my area, what it see like. Really cool here. So you see, you have the ability to go from auto. You could take that off, and now we're in manual. You have ISO select, right? So you can just roll the little wheel to adjust your various ISOs, right? And I'm probably down here somewhere. Wow, it's really obnoxious when you blast it out. My stuff is well lit, so ISO Hundy all day. You know what it is, right? You have the ability to adjust your shutter speed. I don't want to do that because it might break. It might break my connection. And you have the ability to single autofocus, continuous autofocus, or manual autofocus. The other thing that's really cool with the manual focus is you can tap to regain focus if you wish. So I normally leave it on auto because often I'm going to do something like show you this, and all I have to do is tap on it and it'll grok that focus quicker. Like, maybe the autofocus isn't as fast as a Sony, but if I have the app now, I can tap the focus on what I want you to, man, my hand can't be in the right spot, but I can tap the focus on something. So if I'm showing off a product like this Brandon Lee thing, and it has, something here I want to show that's a little bit harder to see than you would think, I just tap it and now it's in focus. Now I can talk about how quick it is to operate the little squeeze locks here, because now I can actually focus on that particular point. And when I come back out, I just tap back to my screen and get it to refocus that way. Or maybe I'm trying to show you the, man, my hand can't be in the right spot. The neutral density joints here, I just tap on those real quick, and I can show you how the neutral density filter works with that 50 millimeter. You know what I'm saying? And then if I flip it around here, tap on that, move my hand out of the way, you can actually see neutral density working because we're just rolling around the little glass X's. You know what I mean? People who shoot know exactly what I meant when I say the little glass X's. The rest of y'all probably think I'm crazy. Anyway, so it's cool how you can do that. I have HDR set up here. I can lock my exposure if I wish. I have grids so I can see what I'm doing on the grid. And then, of course, I can flip. And then I can turn off any boxes if you wish. I actually like to have the grids for this. It helps you frame. And then I just busted it by turning off the HDR. I shan't have done that. It should come back in a second. There it is. Yeah. It doesn't like switching off the HDR mid action. And I'm actually not using the HDR. It's weird. It's lit, but it's not actually on. Don't. It's yes, complicated. What's really cool is it can record into its own body, right? So you have right now. I'm in the cage is green. Focus, Kevin. This stream. That was yesterday's stream. Yes, Kev. Not only is it green, homie, it's gradiated. Look at that. So that green is dark. You know what I'm saying? It's gradient. See the gradient in the handle? Yo, this thing is swanky tanky. Let's come over here. Yeah, you can see the gradient in the handle. This thing is legit. It's wait, too legit. Too legit to quit. I can't believe I remember that. Kick butt, kick butt. uh, so you can access your recordings and stuff in there because it will record directly to the XD card that's built into the camera, which is amazing. But let me show you some of the other cool stuff it can do. Now, I have it set up in a manner that it's not going to work because it's not looking at my face and hands. It's only seeing the back of my hands. My hand can't do this very well, so don't worry about that for now. Let's focus on the screen, and then I'm going to hold it. That should lock it in place. And then, so you have gesture control. You can do things like select the target. You can kick one of those to trigger recording. You can control the zoom effect with your hand. You basically zoom in, zoom out with your finger, or you can do dynamic zoom like this. I was showing everybody at camp how to do that. And then, of course, you can flip the directions in here. So that's the gesture controls that are built in. It has a built-in mic, some built-in audio settings and stuff. So you see there's the microphone there. I can use automatic gain. I'm not using the mic, so in this case it doesn't matter. And I never would use automatic gain for anything. That's just me. Blame the audio guy. But I do like the fact that it has this auto face exposure thing. That's pretty cool. Because it's going to adjust the light according to the person's face and not the background, which is normally better. I'd rather have the background be blown out and the person be proper than the other way around. You can come in here and set your ISO limits. So I can set my upper ISO limit to less than 6400 if I wanted to. Like I can be strict and leave my ISO limit maximum at like 800. But, you know, that's for when you're outside shooting. And then, so here, I'm not going to mess with any of these because this will break what we're doing. UVC mode, when you put it in like that, you can just plug it straight to your computer with the USB cable. With the NDI mode, you can pick it up over NDI, or you can have RTSP mode, which will pick it up over RTSP. For my particular network, the RTSP works better, but I think a lot of that has to do is NDI on a 10 gig wig sometimes, but that's my network. You have to have a 10 gig network. You can adjust the frame rate of your camera, set your encoder, which I like. You could actually set it to do H.265 in the camera, which is better for me because on the M1, when you edit on the M1, M2, M3 processor, having it at H.265 is way quicker than H.264. These are just special processes that are built into the processor on your machine. So if you know you're going to get this camera, even if you don't, I don't really understand H.265, who cares? Leave it there because that's going to be faster when you go to edit and to compress said video. I'm picking the highest bit rate because that just means good quality image. It's funny how many people misconstrue frame rate with bit rate. And then same with resolution. Right now I have it set for 1080. If I switch it to 4K right now, it will break, and that's because it will reset the link and the Blackmagic is picking it up at what it's picking it up at. And then I do have the HDMI output set for 4K, right? So that's cool, right? It's really dope. See, when you're doing the recording, actually, I can change this recording because it shouldn't break anything. Let's see. This might break. Let's see what happens. And it worked. Okay, we kept it because we're not actually recording right now. So the disadvantage is this. Is if I have this on and I try to record in the camera, I can't record in the camera and use the HDMI output at the same time. Not at this level of camera. $2,000 camera, that makes sense. At this level of camera, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so let's dip out of media settings for a second. Now here you can go into, you want it to do automatically shooting when it turns on. You want it to automatically power off after some time, or time power off, time power on. That's because the camera has a battery in it, and that allows you to record outside, no computer, just the camera itself, using this app to control everything. And then you can put whether you want the status lights on or off. So if you're recording somewhere you probably shouldn't be, because security might freak out, turn off the status light and be like, no, it's off the whole time you're recording. And then you can adjust the brightness of the status light so that you can make it dim, and so it doesn't bother you. It has beeping and buzzer, and then you can set it to, when you put a plug in, automatically power on, which is kind of cool, right? And I think that's a weird translation, but what that would mean to me, if I set this to on off, it means I could use something like an Alexa plug to force it to turn on. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons why I think that feature might come out. I will test that. So you can set your video segmentation on your SD card. I really don't need to segment ours because we are Mac users. Here's your SD card. It tells you what I got in there. Currently, I'm rocking a 32 gig. And then, of course, you can reset everything or kick it back to the beginning. So, yeah, this is just super dope. I like how you can just get in here and, make all these adjustments. This is actually a pretty adjustable camera. And, you have your RTMP settings in here so that you can see that. So if I just go to this URL that it gives you, like, you could see this camera from the web if I gave it a dynamic DNS and a public facing address, which would be totally cool. So if I wanted to set up a surf cam or something, I could. Yeah, I don't know. I am really in love with what they've done with this camera. It's quite amazing. I love how easy it is to switch things around. I love how easy it is to use. And now we finally got that good iOS support. Best thing of all, whether UVC, HDMI, NDI, or RTSP, Ecamm reads all of that. I was looking at people talking in the group today, and they're like, "Oh, we need Ecamm in order to do it in NDI." No, you don't. You can do it in RTSP. You can actually do it in UVC. It's completely up to you. It is, to me, the most versatile of these cameras that are out there. Will, we was checking this out when we were in Mass at camp. We were talking about how couldn't wait until the OBSBOT got the iOS support, because before we were only able to do it with Android. But as you can see now, iOS support is in the house. Ladies, that is really, really trippy. I like how I can use this to focus on this and then go here. So if I focus on the word, I can't do that. It's not exactly correct. It should be about right there. It's weird, right? Because I need to hit the interface in order to hit the interface. But I think the way you would cheat is to put something like this SD card on here and then tap on that, lock it. And now if I move that, keep my hand where it is. That doesn't really work. It was worth the shot. Anyway, I just love this thing. This thing is amazing. And now I just told it to try to find my face, which won't make any sense because it's upside down. But yes, it's doing gesture lock right now. And I can just hit right back to P2 and it'll take it back. So if you double tap this, it goes looking for the person. And as soon as it finds the person, it locks on. So now it's locked on to me. And I just told it to unlock. And now it's set back to lock on to me. And then I just put it back in position. So, I basically use it for my overhead, but, you can use it for whatever you like. Oh, you know what else? I didn't even show you guys because I have it set to go because I was going to do something with it later. This is the piece de resistance. This is the USB-C to Ethernet dongle. So for someone that's setting up a church or a concert or, something where you want to have it further away, you should be good to just under 3,000 feet with this bad boy. Boom. Boom. and my FedEx is here. So that's it. I just wanted to give you guys a quick walkthrough of this brand spanking new OBSBOT for iOS. Happy that it's finally in position, so I can use this camera for what I want to use this camera for. In the OBSBOT group itself, so many people were like, "Oh, I can't wait till the iOS app comes out." It's out, so enjoy. A lot of people bought it on pre-order. You're still waiting for yours. I have a pre-release unit, so that's the reason why I have it. And this was, if I remember correctly, this was one of the last things they need to do before they send it out was get the iOS app working. So I'm going to keep messing with this. If I can break it, I can let them know so they can fix it. And that means most of y'all should be getting your Tail Airs pretty soon. So big ups to OBSBOT for providing me with the camera and this pre-release. Again, I've been testing it for a couple months. And what's really cool about these settings is if you don't need to do the zooming and panning, you just have it sort of locked in position. Once you have it locked in position, you don't have to mess with it. Like, it pretty much just works. Every once in a while, if my lighting changes or I'm opening up a box and that box is messing with the lighting, that can throw off the focus. But normally I just have the app sitting open on a device somewhere and I just tap it. And now that I think about it, it'd be really cool, and I'll have to test this, if I could put it on like my old 10, 11, maybe even the 8. So it's really just to control the camera. Like, it doesn't even have to be the phone that I use on a daily basis. So I do believe, yeah, it's getting there. It's kind of amazing. So big ups to you guys for, getting here and checking this out. I'm just hoping that, be quiet. I'm hoping that anyone who gets to play with this, let me know if you have any questions, comments, feedback, or once you get your cameras, if you need help, because again, I've been doing this for a hot minute. I'll be more than happy to walk you guys through it. So boom, this is cool. This is super cool. Big ups again to the OBSBOT team for putting this together. What is up, June? Did you get yours yet? I know you ordered one. I just know how you do. So tell me you got yours already, right? Just let me know, cause yeah, this is super cool. For right now, the app is on the beta group, but again, I'm pretty sure that there's. Oh, see, he did order one. I'm pretty sure that everybody who's waiting for the camera will be getting there soon. Anyway, I got a dip. I just wanted to walk through and show you guys how it works. This thing is incredible. Enjoy. Pasta lasagna.
City of mine, how I love the city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine, how I love